The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
The Sergeant at Arms announces the Chamber of the Honorable Gene Taylor, Member, United States House of Representatives, and Grace Washburn, Senior Professional Staffer to the Honorable Tom Davis, United States House of Representatives.
Retired Brigadier General Robert V. Taylor, immediate past Chairman of the Board, National Guard Association.
Lieutenant General H. Stephen Blum, Chief, National Guard Bureau.
Major General Harold Cross, the Adjutant General of Mississippi.
Major General Newman, the Adjutant General of Virginia.
Will the Sergeant at Arms escort our distinguished guest and their party to the platform? Please be seated. We now have a very special award to present. The Harry S. Truman Award is our association's highest honor. It is recognition of inclusion of a special fraternity of patriots, people who do more than just contribute to the National Guard, but who are the true architects of the institutions that defend our citizens, our values, and our way of life. Such people are few. The National Guard Association of the United States normally bestows no more than one a year, but this year is different. For years, U.S. Representative Gene Taylor from Mississippi and Representative Tom Davis of Virginia have been stalwart supporters of the Guard and our nation's defense. Mr. Taylor is House Guard and Reserve Caucus, has been a strong voice for more Guard full-time manning, additional funding for our military constructions, and better quality of life for Guardsmen and their family. Mr. Davis is the ranking member and the former chairman of the House Government Reform Committee. As such, he was the driving force behind the authority that allowed the Guard to conduct federally funded, state-controlled homeland defense missions. He also has been a staunch critic of the impact BRAC had on our Air National Guard. But what makes them co-recipients of this award is their work on our National Guard empowerment. For the past 2 years, Congressman Gene Taylor and Tom Davis have been the primary authors, sponsors, and chief proponents in the House National Guard Empowerment Act. This legislation will give the National Guard a stronger voice in the Pentagon. It's grounded heavily in their frustrations of seeing the Guard routinely deny the resources that we so direly need. Mr. Taylor and Mrs. Davis have devoted long hours, tremendous personal effort, and assigned top staff to ensure that the National Guard Empowerment Act will eventually become law. And their efforts have been successful. In May, most of the bill went into the House version of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2008. Today, they remain engaged in the fight to keep the measure in the bill through conference until it is enacted. When that day happens, the Davis-Taylor National Guard Empowerment Act will be the most important reform of the National Guard since the passage of the Dick Act over a century ago. Fellow Guardsmen, it is my privilege to bestow the 2007 Harry S. Truman Award to Representatives Gene Taylor and Tom Davis. It's now indeed my honor to present to you Congressman Taylor from the great state of Mississippi.
Thank you. Tom Davis is an extremely tough act to follow. For starters, he speaks in whole sentences. He's a nice dresser. I almost wore a suit, but then the guys from Mississippi wouldn't recognize me, so I hope no one takes offense. But I want to tell you how grateful I am for this award. I was fortunate enough to get to Congress when the great Sonny Montgomery was still there, and he is and always will be one of my heroes, and with the great things he's did. This morning, General Blum asked a room full of young officers how many of them have used the GI Bill. And I've got to tell you, Sonny would have been very proud to see that almost approximately 100 people in that room raised their hand. I happen to be from hurricane country, and my second call, it was either my first or my second, when I could get to the one phone that worked in my home county. 90% of the homes were either outright destroyed or substantially damaged, belonged to the Mississippi National Guard. And it was to General Blum. And I wanted to let you know, the Mississippi Guard did a magnificent job, but keeping in mind that half of them were in Iraq the day of the storm. We did need some help from outside, and within a week we had units from every state in the Union and a couple of the territories. And I want to tell you on behalf of the people of Mississippi how grateful I am. We live by what's called the 60 minutes test. I didn't invent that term, but it means if 60 minutes walked through your door and asked you a question, how would you respond to it? If 60 minutes walked through my door and said, what's NORTHCOM? For the life of me, I couldn't tell you what they do. But for the life of me, I can tell you what the National Guard does and has done and will do. Next one has. And I am convinced, just as Sonny was convinced, that with the proper resourcing, with the proper training, given the right set of directions, we don't need a NORTHCOM if we have a properly manned and resourced National Guard. You are the nation's 911. So I've come to say thanks, and I'd also come to say, thank you for what you do domestically. Thanks for what you're doing in Iraq. We've had, like I said, about half the Mississippi Guardsmen go there, and I was absolutely dumbfounded in the room this morning. Probably 80% of the people, the young officers in there, had been to Iraq or Afghanistan. And I know that's tough to put your lives and your families on hold for that. But we want you to know the American people, no matter how they feel about the war, are for you and are grateful for you. And the only request I would have as someone who helped make TRICARE, Total Force TRICARE, happen, please get the word out. The DOD did not want this to happen. This is a congressional initiative because we know that the Guard and Reserve deserve it. And I don't see anything coming out of the DOD to spread that message, so I'm going to ask each of you to spread that message. We want people to participate because we want this program to succeed, because you've earned it, and you've earned so much more. Above all, you've earned the thanks and admiration of the American people. Thank you very much.